Good afternoon, I'm Bruce Alston, Chronicler-in-Chief with the Hudson County Chronicles. Today I'm in the beautiful offices of former City Attorney Bill Matsikoudis, who opened up recently a law firm on Monticello Avenue. Thank you, Counselor, for a beautiful office and providing us the opportunity to interview you today on the upcoming mayoral election.
Bruce, thank you. Thank you for also chronicling Jersey City politics. I'm looking at you as the new heir to Peter Weiss, Augie Torres. Hopefully you'll be more factual than Augie, and I'll tell you what, I think you've even exceeded his aggression in some of your posts, but Augie, I enjoyed reading you.
Augie, Bill said that, not me, but Bill, I want to ask you. I've known you about 10 years. There was rumors back in 2013 that you might have ran for mayor. You were a key part of the Healy team at that time. 2017, you've been in private practice. I know you've been enjoying it. Why are you running for mayor of Jersey City?
Sure, so it's a question I hear a lot, and it's the most important question that's out there because a lot of people get involved in politics for the wrong reason. They enjoy the power. They enjoy the benefits of it. They like getting driven around in a big car, an SUV with dark windows and having security detail. I'm doing this because public service is what's fulfilling to me. That's why I left one of New Jersey's most prominent law firms when I was 30 years old to go work in state government, in the governor's office and as a deputy attorney general, because it's sort of my calling, public service in general. And I do love what I'm doing, practicing law. We're doing some great things. We're representing people that need help against corporations by and large. And we're doing well with it, but I'm running because I have deep ties and deep love for this city. I'm running because I believe I have the experience, the skill set, and the creativity to really address some of Jersey City's chronic problems that are throughout urban America, really. And also because I'm absolutely dissatisfied with the way the city's being run with the current mayor.
Now, Bill, I'm one that believes, right, firmly that this city is divided more than ever in 2017. The next mayor has to be a unifier, right? It seems that this city is divided from south of Montgomery Street, let's say. How does Mayor Matsikoudis unite the city?
I think I have a unique ability to really do it. And I think part of that has to deal with the deep ties that I have to the city. On one hand, I can empathize with the born and bred, if you will, and that cut across all the boundaries. I know.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was a little misquoting myself in a past interview, and I didn't really get into your roots, how rooted you are into Jersey City, but that is my mistake, and I hope you
No, it's partially true because I haven't lived here my entire life. You know, I'm the youngest of 7. All of whom were in Jersey City. My parents had a business here. On my mother's side, I have relatives that go all the way back to my great-great-grandfather, who's buried in Bayview Cemetery and fought in the Union Army at the Battle of Gettysburg. My father, on the other hand, an undocumented immigrant from Greece, who was frankly deported after he arrived here for the first time and went and lived in Cuba right before Castro took over because it was closer than to go back to Greece. Ultimately got back in and built up a successful business here, Mars Deli on Chestnut and Pavonia. You know, I went to St. Al's grade school for a while, like you. Lived on Kensington Avenue as a real little kid. Lived on Van Nostrand Avenue for a lot of my life. Went to OLM for some years. My parents, like so many Jersey City people, had a Hudson County sort of refuge. Monmouth County sort of refuge. I did go to finish grade school there. Went to high school down there. I credit that with teaching me how to pronounce the letter R. I don't call water. I don't call water anymore. And it also opened up my eyes to so many, other things being around, so different socioeconomic background there. But unifying the city, I think I can communicate with the immigrant class group of people here, since the fact of the matter is my father is. I speak Spanish, and I have great relationships with the Latin American community here. I've traveled throughout Latin America. I have great relationships in the African American community, have deep ties and friends with not only the leaders, but so many people throughout. My office located in a majority African American area of the city. And some people have accused me of being a yuppie, if you will. What people get called who are some of the young professionals and people who are doing pretty well economically. So I feel comfortable talking to every single group of the city. I've never felt uncomfortable doing that. So I think that there's a great opportunity to unify the city. We have to make sure that there's not the great disparity in public safety, and we have to make sure that the people who are from here are not forced to leave here because of affordability.
Now, Bill, let me say this. You've made an investment by putting your law firm in a part of the city that's been besieged by violence, okay? I recently read your white paper on policing, on community policing, right? How can you, as mayor, get a hold of this violence in Jersey City, which seems to be rising? It has risen since the Healy administration. What can you do about this violence?
Well, in the white paper, we lay out our strategy, which is community policing, improving the relationships between the police and the community at large. It includes police getting out of their patrol cars and walking the beat, but it's so much more than that. It's about engaging in a robust dialogue and constant contact at different points between the police and the community, from the chief of police to the patrol officer. It's about problem solving, looking at issues that exist in a certain area of the city and working with other elements of the government to try to address those issues before they boil over into something more violent. We haven't seen that in this administration. We've seen the exact opposite, discredited old strategies of broken windows on steroids, where Mayor Fulop bragged about police sweeps in his 2014 State of the City address that arrested hundreds of people, many of whom for minor offenses that hurt those people's lives by now having a criminal record, and maybe even more importantly, damaging the relations between the police and the community. That doesn't help the crime problem, that exacerbates it. So it's probably not a surprise then that we've seen it, as you pointed out, a homicide rate during the Fulop administration that is substantially higher than it was in the years before. Every single year, it's been the same.
Okay. Now, let me touch on another subject that it's really frightening residents in Jersey City right now. We're under a tax reval. Can you, being a former city attorney, you have a better understanding of the process of what the outcome may be? What can you tell people to expect with this reval?
The reason why we need a reval and the reason why law mandates it is because the assessment of properties right now is out of whack because it's been so long since one's been done. And as a result of that, properties that have decreased in value compared to other properties in the city and ones that have increased are not being taxed appropriately. That's why we saw how someone who bought a house for 1/3 the value of Mayor Fulop's house could be paying the same amount of property taxes.
Okay.
So what we can expect is that probably 1/3 of the property owners in Jersey City will see their taxes remain stable, 1/3 will see their taxes go down, 1/3 will see their taxes go up. Another thing that we should be looking at is that so many commercial properties, big corporate-owned properties, are not paying their fair share right now because of not having a reval in so long. So although, unfortunately, some people who may even be longtime residents who have seen their property values go up dramatically may be hit with a very steep tax increase. Hopefully not the case, but probably will occur for some people. The corporations will also be shouldering some of that burden.
Well, my sources have told me, though, that there's something that you've been doing very privately, that you've been reaching out to contacts in the state legislature and different things, basically maybe trying to do something to ease the burden if taxes do go up. You want to expound on that a little bit more?
I have expressed to local and state legislators, as well as leaders in the state legislature, that we should look at doing a phase-in of the property tax reval if the city agrees and enters into an agreement where we do a rolling reval like once every 2 years thereafter for at least a period of a decade. Other municipalities have done these rolling revals to keep our assessments up to date so we don't have this type of problem again. And then we would have the ability to maybe phase this in over a 3-year period where those people that may have a really high increase can hopefully adjust to it over time. It would also put off the benefit of some of the residents who have already been paying too high of taxes, but I think it's a fair trade-off.
Okay. Jobs. Jobs, we need them. We especially need them on the south side. Recently, we both attended a meeting, and it was about the PLA agreements, union jobs for residents. How do you feel about what the mayor and the current city corporation is trying to do with this new project labor agreement?
Look, I wrote the ordinance with assistance on the project labor agreement, which basically says that on certain construction projects that are either city undertaken by the city or funded with a tax abatement, that the developer has to use union labor, and that a certain percentage of those jobs, 20% of the labor hours, should be performed by apprentices that are building themselves up to be full-fledged union members from Jersey City. And it's proven to be something very hard to enforce or something very hard to get that 20% number. So I understand and I applaud the effort to try to make changes to the ordinance to improve that. You know, when I was in the city, I was working well out of the sort of boundaries of a typical corporation council to bring people into the jobs, to make sure that the unions were doing their part, to make sure developers or contractors, what have you, were doing their part.
In some ways you're working as a compliance officer.
Oh, absolutely. And arguably the corporation council has the role of a compliance, where I was doing facilitating, and I brought people into these jobs. But look, there's so much more to job creation than construction jobs. That is an important aspect of it. We have a development boom going on, but that fluctuates depending upon the national economy and the real estate values. We are also next to New York City. We also have the 13th biggest downtown in America, if you define it by square footage of office space. We still have a decent amount of industrial jobs going on here. America has lost jobs because of going overseas and automation, but one of the biggest problems we have, right, not only in this city but around America, is that people aren't getting connected to employment opportunities. There are millions of jobs unfulfilled, believe it or not, in the United States of America. I believe in a case management system of helping address our problems, both with affordable housing and with job creation. When people come in, we have someone connect them to the jobs out there. and also, of course, give them the adequate training that they need.
I want to touch on a couple of political issues. Last Saturday, you opened up your Ward F campaign office, campaign headquarters. You introduced your Ward F candidate that will run on the Matsikoudis ticket, Yolanda Dorch-Hammaker, okay? And I believe 2 weeks before that, you announced that Rick Johnson will be running for city council on your slate also in Ward A. How do you feel about both candidates?
Obviously, I feel really good about them. I think that they fall into a category of people who are engaged in public life because they want to make a difference. And not into that category of, I want to better myself or I want to advance my own career, if you will. That category of people are the people that will do what they're told, they're rubber stamps, they'll cut deals. And these people, I don't want a rubber stamp. I want independent voices who will challenge me from time to time and keep me on my game. I'm impressed by these two individuals because they've given so much of their life already to their community, to their country. Yolanda, 18-year veteran of the U.S. Army. Rick, working in the corrections and helping people transition out of incarceration back into life to give them a real second chance. So I'm thrilled about those choices and looking forward to announcing more people as we go forward.
When do you expect you'll be complete with your slate, though? Any timetable, really, or is it something you're working?
I would actually like to be set and ready to go by at some point before we hit into certainly that July period. That's my goal.
Okay. want to ask you two more questions, okay? First question being, Stephen Fulton, it's the worst kept secret, was running for governor for 3.5 years. During those 3.5 years, what is one of the major accomplishments you can say that his administration was successful at?
You want me to give you an accomplishment that they were successful at during his 3.5 years? I'll give him credit for finishing off Berry Lane Park, an initiative that began some years ago that we made a lot of progress in when I was working for the city. We brought the legal action that got the site cleaned up of contamination. We came up with the park design. We marshaled a lot of the forces, and he, maybe to the exclusion of every other park in the city, finished that off. So I give him some credit there. And look, there's a couple of the things that I think are decent about what he's done, whether it's the murals I'm okay with, although there are some issues there. I like a lot of them. But
do you think he's kept his promise as being someone, as a uniter for the city, as someone that was going to unite the city? That was one of his major platform issues that he ran on, that we were living in a divided city and we'd be a one Jersey city.
No, I don't think he has. I think when you're absent from the city for 3 years, you're not addressing so many of the issues, whether it's the division and disparities that exist, or nuts and bolts issues like keeping the streets clean. He's done a very good job at managing his political career, but not a good job of managing the city. As far as uniting the city and not dividing it, I think he's actually exacerbated it. He has, by canceling the reval, it was a piece of malfeasance that kept taxes artificially high in the southern, poorer part of the city. And that was an egregious, unlawful action that really punished the people of the city who could least afford it. Look, I welcome newcomers. I think having them come into the city is a positive thing, and new development can be a very positive thing, but it is a double-edged sword. It also increased the cost of living, and unless you're making real strides at making life more affordable in other ways, like looking at rent control laws or stimulating affordable housing, you have to be careful about inviting all that development. And he, let's be clear, spent $1 million on trying to stimulate gentrification with this Make Jersey City Yours marketing platform. So I don't think he's done anything to unite the city. I don't think in fact, he's done some things that have helped divide it.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit, right? There was a young Illinois senator that ran for president in 2008. What was very surprising to me back then, that maybe, was that Mayor Healy and yourself, along I believe with Senator Booker and his staff, were the two earliest supporters in New Jersey for the certain senator who became president, Barack Obama, right? In 2013, a rarity, a sitting president, made them endorsed a Democratic mayor in a nonpartisan race. Okay. Now, I'm just curious. Can we expect an endorsement from Barack Obama in 2017 for Bill Matsikoudis?
Well, hope springs eternal. I wouldn't count on it, but maybe we'll give it a shot. I'm very proud that I was an early, vigorous supporter of Barack Obama, that I was a delegate for him. I can remember when Mayor Healy and I had our first sit-down meeting with him when he was a senator, and he explained to us how he was going to win when very few people thought he could, and how he was going to help change the country for the better. I was blown away. Healy was blown away. And we proceeded to endorse him when a lot of people said he had no chance, and we were really going against the whole power structure of the Democratic Party in the state of New Jersey.
It's relatively unknown still.
Absolutely, and he had a strategy, and it goes to show you that when people may not think that there's a viable path to victory, that one exists if you use your heart and you use your brain. And we were proud to have him in Jersey City on multiple occasions. And I think it was a great choice, because I think he was 8 years of of a president that moved the country forward, took us out of an economic morass. He was a person who led this country with dignity, without scandal, with really nobility. And I miss him, and I had the opportunity to go to the White House and be at events and see him on a number of occasions. So we'd love to have him back in Jersey City, especially if it's connected to an endorsement for me, but I won't hold my breath either.
Okay. I'm going to leave you with this question. Many sources have said to me, this run in 2017 is setting up a surefire run for 2021 for Bill Matsikoudis. Now, what I say to you, is Bill Matsikoudis running to be mayor in 2017? Or is this a lifelong goal to become mayor of Jersey City?
I'm running to become mayor in 2017. I think the mayor's record is one that, as we communicate to people about his failures, whether it's on the property tax reval or on rising homicide rates, the lack of affordability and people getting priced out of the city, and about my experience and my ideas. You alluded to the community policing idea before, that we're going to put together a very robust campaign, get our message out, and I think we're going to win this election, whether it's in November or in December. As far as it being a lifelong goal, no. I wouldn't say I would never ever run again, but it's not going to be something I plan on doing multiple times.
Okay.
I love normal, regular life too. And look, there's a lot that's a sacrifice involved in this as well in running. I'm also having a good time doing it. I love interacting with the people and meeting the people and hearing from the Jersey City residents about what they think could be done to make the city better.
Well, Councilor Matsikoudis, I want to wish you the best on your journey.
Thank you so
I want
much.
to thank you again for opening this beautiful office on Monticello Avenue, right? And I wish you and your family the best of luck as you move forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been Bruce Alston, Hudson County Chronicle.